game. We're playing to win. I'm not going to lose this game and let our players have an excuse that, well, coach really didn't want to win. He just, he played everybody or we played different. So for me, that mindset was really important. Then that continued into the Big 12 tournament. Okay, you're probably going to be a 1 seed. You've had a great season. I'm like, no, we're going to go in there to frickin' win that tournament game by game because I just, you don't get a dress rehearsal for the NCAA tournament. So I really wanted to treat the Big 12 tournament as our dress rehearsal. And, you know, if we showed up, we didn't play good, we were flat, we lost, I thought it would be something that we could learn from. If we won, I thought we could continue to galvanize and it could build confidence for our team. So it was awesome. That little stretch really helped our team.
Toward the back, right of the aisle.
Hi, Coach. I was just talking to Braden Burries and Koa Pete, and they mentioned that you have told them multiple times to live in the moment and be where their feet are. What's the value of that advice for freshmen playing on such a large stage?
I just think for them, you got to find a way to connect and create meaning for them, and that's why I keep telling them. And you guys have heard me say it multiple times over the last couple of weeks. Let's just treat this like a state tournament. These guys all won state championships. Why do we have to put the word national in front of it and treat it different just because there's a different word in front of it? So let's treat it like a state tournament. You're in the semis in the state tournament. You know, we all remember that back in the day, and unfortunately, my team got knocked out before then, so I didn't get that feeling as a player. But these guys all know what it feels like, and I want them to understand they've been here before, and it just may be different circumstances.
We'll take our next question in the back part of the room on the right as we also welcome Ivan Karchenkov to the dais.
Nice.
Go ahead with your question.
Coach Lena Washington, back right, 12 News Phoenix here. From Koa to TJ on your staff and the history of Mike Bibby, Richard Jefferson, what can you say about the basketball culture in Phoenix and the level of talent that's in the Valley, even with Section 7 being out there? It's become a destination to develop the next big player.
You're exactly right. And, you know, Phoenix has a good basketball tradition. You know, when I was a young assistant, you know, it wasn't like Phoenix was just like had all these players. You know, it was probably a little bit dry. You know, the few good ones would go to Arizona. Now there's so many more good players coming out of the state of Arizona. And, you know, the city of Phoenix has grown. You know, a number of prep schools have popped up in that area. So it has become a destination for high-level basketball players, and obviously we're welcoming that, and we want to be in the middle of it.
We've now reached the portion of this news conference where we're going to turn things over to the full court press reporters. The full court press reporters are wearing the credentials with the black lanyards. If you have a question for Ivan or head coach Tommy Lloyd, raise your hand. Let's go to the center.
Ivan, this will be for you first, and then Coach Lloyd, I'll have a follow-up for you.
Your name and media outlet first.
Sorry, thank you. Kira Haffman, St. Mary's College. Ivan, in what ways have you seen Coach Lloyd invest in you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, just time and the details he puts into his work. We had a lot of meetings this year. I would say like roughly once a month. Just talking about a couple games, talking about some clips. Things we can I can improve. And just talking a little bit about basketball. And then he would like give me a plan. These 3 things, I want you to improve in for the next couple games. And, I would then, put more emphasis on that and hopefully, make him proud.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan's been great. Obviously he had a lot of basketball experience coming, but, my message to him was like, this might go a little different than you expect. There's a transition, even though he played at a high level in Europe, to NCAA basketball and playing in the States, and so I just wanted him to respect that and understand it, and he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he's really, improved over the course of the year, and I also appreciate that he played well early and stayed in his lane and was patient, and because when you come over here and you're as accomplished as he is, you could sometimes want a little too much too fast, and it kind of backfires. So he's had a great approach, and he's been playing his best basketball the past few weeks, and that's really helping our team.
Continuing with full court press questions, we'll take one right up front.
Jenny Bartlett from Franklin College. So I've asked this question a few times today. With coming to the Final Four, emotions are always so high, and they're up and down, energies are high. What would you say that your emotions are right now going into the Final Four, and how do you think that that is going to affect you on the court?
You want to check Yvonne's emotions first? We'll do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is great, but how Coach mentioned already, we want to take this as a regular road trip. Go on a Big 12 road trip, taking as a game at a time. We came there earlier than usual, and then on the usual road trip, but it's only because so we can have a normal practice on the floor, just in the stadium, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, emotions are great, but I don't want to let them lose too early because the game's on Saturday.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, my emotions are fine. You know what I mean? Like, I always tell our guys that the better job we can do making things feel normal, I think the better chance we have of playing good. So, we're not a program that is maybe overly excited. We're focused, and these guys, I'm hopeful will be ready to play tomorrow, and because we know it's going to be a really tough game.
To the center.
Hi, I'm Jenna Plank from Butler University, and this is for Coach Lloyd. I know you kind of touched on this a bit, but how big of an influence was being an assistant at Gonzaga? How did that translate in your head coaching career at Arizona?
It was amazing. It's Gonzaga, by the way, not Gonzaga. And it was amazing. And, just when I think back to the relationships I still have, like, the first night, we got in, Coach Few and his whole family and Dan Munson, all those, former Zay guys just came up to my room and we just hung out for a couple hours. It's his family. So, I mean, for me, it's it's a big part of who I am. And it was a great place to be a part of and to learn, what it takes to be a good coach. And I'll always be thankful, for my experience there.
To Mr. Urban in the back, I had to restart the Zoom. Just wanted to let you know. We're going to go to the left side with Will.
Will Hicks, Butler University. Tommy, this one's for you. What do you love about Arizona compared to any other program, university? What separates that from other programs?
Man, Arizona it's a special place for the right people. I look at our fan base and just I kind of laugh sometimes. I'm like, when I close my eyes, I think of an Arizona fan. There's lots of them, so don't just pigeonhole this into one. But I see this guy about my age that hasn't shaved in a few days. He's got a flat bill hat on, and he's wearing a jersey. I'm like, what 50-year-old dudes wear jerseys? You know who does? Arizona basketball fans do. And I love those guys, and I connect with those people. I mean, I honestly love the community of Tucson. I'm not a big city guy. I'm more of a country boy, and just love hanging out with my family and friends and don't want to deal with traffic. And I think, Tucson gets an interesting rap. It's the little brother or whatever to Phoenix. And Phoenix is great. It's cool hanging out in Scottsdale. But people that live to choose in Tucson are living to choose there because they're a little bit different. And they love the things Tucson's about. And all those things resonated with me and connected with me. So, yeah, we love it there. I mean, literally, my parents have a house there. My wife's parents moved there. My wife's sister moved there. All our kids are there. We have grandkids now. I mean, the roots are getting pretty deep. And you know what? You can grow roots in the desert. Trust me.
Up front, on the left.
Jacob Leslie from University of Nebraska, Omaha. And this is a question for both you guys, but following that two-game skid in mid-February against Kansas and Texas Tech, you guys have brought off 13 straight wins, 8 of them coming against ranked teams. What did that two-game skid teach you guys about yourselves, and how are you guys able to use that going forward?
Aggressive use of the word skid twice in that question. Let's go to Yvonne.
I like it. I like it.
I felt like it gave us a little bit of a relief. We didn't have to, guard anything. We didn't have to protect anything. Not anything like a streak or anything. And also, showed us, if we don't show up, 100% and give it all, we're gonna lose some games. And it was good, just like a little reality check, and to recalibrate a little bit into the season, to get to the day ones, to the fundamentals, and go out there and knowing the feeling of losing, that it sucks, and just playing with the edge from that point on.
Coach.
I think Yvonne crushed it. I remember we lost at Kansas that day. I just told the guys there's no shame. That place was electric that day. It was a big Monday. We were number one in the country. I mean, it was electric. But I told our guys after the game, like, no, we're fine. The season just started. That was our approach. Like, the season just started. Like, it was great. We had a 20-some game winning streak in the preseason. Now the season's for real. Let's go. And then we came home and went through a few injuries, and and a good Texas Tech team beat us. And then we really had to kind of dig in and kind of figure out how we were going to do it, because we had to kind of adjust how we were playing, and it was a lot of moving parts, and these guys did an incredible job. The staff did a great job hanging with it, and then it was about just executing it day by day, play by play.
Any further full court press coverage? We do have one right in the center.
Yeah, hi, Cooper Van Driesch with University of Notre Dame. This question's for both of you, but you specifically, Coach, you were here in 21 as an assistant. Can you just talk about your experience with Indianapolis as a host city and how they really embrace hosting an event like the Final Four?
Well, 21, as you remember, was COVID, and we were in a bubble. So I think we literally ended up staying like 3.5 weeks at the Marriott on the 3rd floor. So obviously this experience is very different. But Indianapolis, I mean, come on, we know what basketball means in the state of Indiana. It's an amazing host city for the Final Four. Just the proximity of everything on feet is really cool. And, I'm assuming the city's really filling up, and I'm assuming we're going to see that tonight and through the day tomorrow. But, yeah, it's been amazing, and, we're thankful that the NCAA and the city of Indianapolis work in great partnership to put on an amazing event.
Yvonne, what do you think of Indy so far?
Pretty cool city, even though I didn't see a lot of it. It reminds me of the weather of Germany a little bit, so a couple similarities there. But I love everything, that has, the connection to basketball. I don't know where we went through yesterday with the big hall and all the basketball fest things.
Fan Fest.
The Fan Fest. And I love that, I love that to see. And I wish, Germany and in Europe, a couple more things like that would happen.
We have time for one more quick question, catching up from earlier.
Hey, Lindsay Schnell from The Athletic. Tommy, so much has been made about, this long drought in the West. No one from the West has won in 29 years. Do you think the players actually, know that or understand that, have that perspective, or no, because they're too young?
No, they have no idea. I mean, Yvonne, I think half serious and half joking, when we had won the Elite Eight game, I think we were walking, I don't know if we were doing media or whatever, and he looked at me and he said, I was like, is this really hard to do? And I'm like, wow, yeah, thanks. And I said, yeah, 27 years of my life, and this is the 3rd time for me. So yeah, it is hard to do, and for these guys to come in here, and there's a beauty in that, though. And they're just coming in here, and their expectations is we're going to get in a game and we're going to try to win, and they don't make it much more complicated than that. So, but the long-term deal in the West, yeah, it's a long drought. It's a long drought for the Big Ten, and as well. So, it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out.
Yvonne just makes it look easy, and we want to congratulate Yvonne and congratulate Coach Lloyd, and thank you guys for joining us here in the main interview room. Arizona heads to open practice.